right, let's go hockey next. We've got 3 games tonight, so a little more to choose from on the NHL slate. Only 2 weeks left in the season. It is crunch time for all of these teams. I think you've got some prop angles for us tonight. Where do you want to start first here?
Yeah, so basically just looking at one goal scorer, I like from each game here. We'll look at a value play that the Dimers model has, and we'll look at a top probability just to kind of compare the two. But overall, I think the plays would be the value plays, which we'll pull up all together at the end as a recap or a roundup rather. And I'll just pull up our predictions as we've been doing, starting with the first game of the night in Canucks versus Avalanche. And sort of like in the NBA and a little bit with Major League Baseball, best versus worst feels like a bit of a theme tonight, continuing here in the NHL. The Canucks allow the most goals in the NHL this season. No one has scored more than the Colorado Avalanche. Seems pretty obvious here. Nathan MacKinnon is the superstar. He, interestingly, is actually our second highest goal scorer in this one at 38.9%, behind Martin Nikas, who's at 41.7%, not too far off from his fair odds of plus 130 on FanDuel. You can certainly go that way if you want the higher probability. He scored 10 goals last month. And he's been very good. He was in the Olympics. He had some goals there, I believe. He's been great alongside MacKinnon, and he's a massive contributor all across the board. But if you want to look for the value, you can go with he's basically tied for third here in the entire game. Valeri Nichushkin, who still cracks over 30%, but at plus 270 would be fair at just plus 220. That's pretty good edge from the model. See here in best props, he should still show up right here at plus 270 on DraftKings, 31.6%, and a 4.6% edge. He's the only one. Oh, and you got Joel Kiviranta for a much longer play, but pretty much the only one on the Avalanche with an edge to score. Stands out pretty well. Going to the next game, actually, let's go to Ducks Sharks. Pretty much not the opposite here, but you got basement versus basement in terms of defense and goals allowed rather than a best versus worst matchup. But both teams ranked in the top half of their conference in offense as well this season. They were kind of getting over the hump of their perceived badness, I suppose. The Sharks are actually over 500 for once, and they've had some pretty good scoring opportunities behind some of their young stars like Macklin Celebrini. You could go either way in this one, but the Ducks are missing their top contributor, Cutter Gauthier, who just got injured, and that opens up an edge on Chris Kreider here. He's at 33.9%. Last I saw, he was plus 245. We'll see if that's held. Almost plus 240, just about the same. 4.5% edge here. So you're getting a decently high probability versus a bottom defense. Very good combination. If you want probability alone, it would be Macklin Celebrini. As mentioned earlier, 42.6% right here. Almost at fair odds at plus 130. Actually, that plus 130, that might be because he was 40.9% earlier, which is why I had him almost fair. But so he's actually very close, if not right at fair. Kid's a stud, 9 goals last month. Couldn't really go wrong with him either. Also shined in the Olympics. And then in the third game, Kings Blues, we've got teams who are adjacent in the standings. They've scored the exact same amount of goals. Their goal differential is a discrepancy of -10 this season, which means they're pretty well matched overall. But that also means we should ride the hot hand and fade the other side. Kings have dropped 7 of 10, allowed 4+ goals in 5 of those games, 6+ twice. The Blues are almost the exact opposite, 6 and 4 over their last 10, giving up 3+ goals just 3 times. Projected goalies favor the Blues in their current form, with Binnington playing much better lately, allowing only 1 goal in 3 of his last 6 games. I think value is on Dylan Holloway. If you check in our props here, he's the only. Oh, got Justin Hull here for another big long shot. So if you want you can basically go favorite, value, or long shot in almost each of these games. So Dylan Holloway at plus 250, 32.6, another very similar edge. So you got 3 guys all right around 32, 33%, all right around a 4% edge, all right around the same odds. Very good kind of correlation there, I think. Seems between the model's predictions. If you want the top guy in this one, it's Artemi Panarin, who is 37.6%, and that's right around fair at plus 165, his best odds that I saw before. So overall, my recommendation would be these three straights from the model: Chris Kreider, Dylan Holloway, Larry Nichushkin, or you could play them as a little lotto that plus 4,500 about for that long shot. All three edges. All of these are also right at the top of the props. If you look at them overall, you'll just see that they're sitting right up here. Well, not overall because we got all these shots on goal props, but if you look at just goals, you'll see them all right here at the top. And then you also have Brock Boeser in here against the Avalanche, which you could certainly go that way. Call me crazy. I think it makes sense to target the best offense against the worst defense, however, rather than the other side, especially when the probabilities are almost the same. And then if you want, of course, we got some long shots of many varieties all the way down the board, if you like. But I like those three. If you want, you can have fun with the favorites as well. Panarin, Nikas, and Celebrini is also not a bad little 3-leg goal scorer parlay. We just don't have an edge on them, but they're all pretty close to fair, which is not bad for top scorers, guys who are that proficient in scoring.
No, I feel like you don't even need a crazy edge for that to be appealing. You know, when you get the top guys on a slate like this, that's enough when you see the numbers where they're at tonight. So,
yep. And you had 7 goals for Panarin last month, by the way, 9 for Celebrini and 10 for Nikas. So if you go with the top guys, pretty good production riding into April.